Tenjima's done. Let's see what we have. Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was black snakehead instead. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, he told me that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I searched the water the whole afternoon before I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon seems like you're... Huh? I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The Omamori you gave me, now that's the kind of info we're looking for. So this is, interesting. But anyway, if he had this with him all the time, there's a chance some of his elemental energy remained on it. The soil looks like it's been must be something pretty amazing. It looks like Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? But he's been here for 30... Well, let's go give...
I'll be. That's certainly my head. But still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone. Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. And just look at all the things that did happen over the years. The time has flown by so quickly. 30 years feels like the blink of an eye. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regret, everything I felt for her, it's all disappeared. No, not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice, it's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years have been nothing but a hazy dream. I think maybe not. If this is something Although, what if she were to turn up eventually, only to find I didn't remember so much as her name? When I think about it like that, how curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who... I shall remain.
Tenjima seems to be dealing okay. Seems it's just like Ayaka and Tomo were saying. That certainly explains. At least we were able to help him. According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission.
Here, let me help you.
the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law. But why would they take Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation.
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Oh, huh? And who are you?
What? We heard the commotion.
I see. You seem to have come. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he suddenly refuses to give us anything. He's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll starve without them.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man. But it's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the...
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa.
I've never even heard of these emergency provisions. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. No, if you'll excuse me, that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work.
Well, that's strange. You were helping him for...
To be perfectly honest, all I know is that I will perform certain things every month. And it's not just that. I have...
Does it have to do with the missing
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them... To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure...
But we better confer. We should be able to follow their tracks. I've been to the outside world.
May knowledge guide you.
We really outdid ourselves. All those samurai houses packed.
You haven't seen anything. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey. You demand!
These seem like the treasure hoarders were at...
Quake!
Out of the frying pan, into...
Fry!
No, my sword!
Stabilize!
Motion to compel!
You're open! Oh, there goes all the Mora! We worked hard. Come on, boss!
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh?
So what did you see in...
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange... I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself. But now that you've caught us, how about we...
You've got a deal!
Huh?
What the...
There's...
Yeah, and they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store. We better talk to this miss. As for you guys, you're free to go.
yes. So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs.
Shut it.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Grocery. Or perhaps... Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it.
Whoa, whoa! Let's not get ahead. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his...
So that's how he was getting those emergency provisions. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased,
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Wow. And no one ever appreciated...
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. And, if you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth, of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing. As for why he chose to spend his own money on him, if you're still curious, why don't you... I see. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but...
Sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps... Oh, but before you go...
But we...
Information is also... Don't worry. I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever...
At least we now know where the emergency provision... Let's go talk to Kurosawa again. What are you...
I presented them with a choice. It turned out to be a real tough. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoard?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing a...
Strange. Is that I don't really have any such recollection. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense this sword. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this and said to me,
Hey! If you look... Can you recognize the words?
virtue? Somehow those two were taking on seemingly endless debts to make others. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased a provision. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the irony of all of it is, I'm incapable of being a good person. Yet I'm equal.
Yet another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah. See, fortunately for us, let's go find the next port.
She's still
The third person who had their vision... Paimon heard that he's the present-day master of Meikyo. This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people...
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but...
Maybe, but... Things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but it's never shaken him.
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. Once the exorcism has taken place, he'll be right...
Hey there! Did something happen?
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei isn't. Don't make me draw my blade, or you won't live.
No, you got it so wrong. We just came here to,
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of Meikyo Shisui art. It's the whole... But then we got here...
From the way you... Please, accept my apologies. You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently. I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Sensei's name is Domon. Though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high... He once said that his goal was to become the best, and so, even while training us, he continued to hone his own art. His fervor truly... But then...
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision. He says the strangest things over and over. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think... But if I'm honest...
The Grand Naru...
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one... So don't worry, Nanako. Since the exorcism will take place this evening.
So, losing your...
Shh. So you decided just now, when Nanako was attending to... When she asked him who the people were, it looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looked... All the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew. Others we didn't recognize. But they all seemed to be the names of sword masters he had defeated in the past. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. The ritual has now begun. Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water. If he wakes up...
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? We won't let them get away with it. Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person.
How? Are you sure you're don't? Unless...
Excuse me? And what are you doing?
Bad news? I'll have you know, I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you...
His senior?
Anzai? Yes, because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever again. When we were young, we trained under the same sword master, studying Meikyo Shisui art together. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a steady and dependable older disciple. Practitioners of Meikyo Shisui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, but Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go... Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. I thought so too at the time. But Domon began making swift progress. Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since freed his mind from all agitation. He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought nothing less than perfection in the art of the sword.
Sure sounds like he meant business.
Because until he arrived, of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei, too. Sensei was advanced in years. After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still respected his... So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, My first reaction was I decided to quietly come and see if. So you see, I came here not. Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it wrong. Still, Paimon's not sure we...
What? You're saying he isn't possessed? Does that mean he's just lost his mind?
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any malignant spirit having. But spirits may take a mere, and all is certainly not lost. For I received word not long ago that Lady Yai has taken an interest.
Lady Yai?
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Naru.
Correct. Lady Yai, I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed your sense.
Excuse me, Miss Inagi.
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is I must leave now, but we will meet soon.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself?
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't renowned?
No, that's not what I meant at all. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maid. Anyway, given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei, we...
Sure! After all, everyone see... Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find out...